Hello, my name is Andrea. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing 3 super easy Dollar Tree Christmas DIYs, all with a Jingle Bell theme. So let's jump right in. This DIY is a Christmas mason jar sign. I'm starting with this wooden mason jar from Dollar Tree. I'm taking off this twine bow on the top. I'm starting by painting the top and sides of the mason jar with red acrylic paint. I have this red and black buffalo check vinyl from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it out the same size as the mason jar. Then I'm going to stick it onto the sign. I got a pack of Christmas-themed felt words at Dollar Tree, and I'm using this one in white that says Joy for this sign. I'm just hot gluing it onto the mason jar. These Christmas stickers are also from Dollar Tree. I'm using 2 of the trees for this DIY, and I'm painting them green with this green acrylic paint by Decor in the shade Holly Green. I thought the trees needed a little something else, so I'm using white acrylic paint and adding little dots on the trees. I have this small craft stick painted red with some Christmas berries on it. It was part of a DIY I did last year, and I'm using it at the top of my mason jar for a little decoration. I'm stringing 3 silver bells onto a strand of red and white baker's twine and tying it around the craft stick. Then I'm hot gluing this onto the top of the mason jar. I'm hot gluing the second tree sticker, overlapping the first one so it gives it more of a 3-dimensional look. I'm adding some line detail in black to the top of the mason jar to give it a bit more of a realistic look. I'm taking some pieces of twine and tying 2 bows, then hot gluing them together and gluing that to the top of the mason jar. Today's video is part of the Jingle All the Way playlist hosted by Chantel with Crafty Hints and Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY. Everyone in today's playlist made Christmas DIYs with a Jingle Bell theme, so make sure to go to my description box and check out the playlist. This DIY is a Christmas wreath, and I'm starting by using this wreath. I believe it was from Dollar Tree last year. It's just a metal wreath form with garland tied around it. And I'm also using a piece of cardboard and this galvanized joy sign from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut out a strip of cardboard to go across my wreath. Now I'm cutting that cardboard piece out. And I'm taking this red and black buffalo check vinyl from Dollar Tree and cutting it to be the same size as my cardboard rectangle, then sticking it on top. I'm hot gluing this cardboard piece to the back of my wreath, and then I'm hot gluing this joy sign right in the middle. I'm taking this decoupage glue from Decor along with some salt, and I'm painting all over my garland wreath with this decoupage glue and then sprinkling the salt on top to create a snowy effect. I did end up going back over some of the places and adding more glue and more salt because once the glue dried, I could see better which parts needed more snow. I have these 2 wooden bells from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint them with this bright metallic paint from Decor in the shade Champagne Gold. For the top of my wreath, I'm going to add a couple of these small pine cones, and I'm doing the same effect, going over them with the decoupage glue and then sprinkling lots of salt on top to make them all nice and snowy. I'm hot gluing these to the top of my wreath and also adding in some white and red berries in the middle. I'm hot gluing the two wooden bells together at a bit of an angle so the two holes at the top are overlapping. And then I'm taking this bundle of red berries and poking it through the hole and then gluing all of this to the bottom of the wreath. Now I'm decorating the rest of my wreath with a couple little pine cones and then some of the Christmas berries. I have this pack of decorative filler that has lots of mini pine cones and other things in here, and I'm taking some of these out and hot gluing them around the wreath. This DIY is a cute little Jingle Bell wreath ornament. I have this floral wire from Michaels, and I'm cutting off about an 11-inch section of it. I'm using 34 bells for this ornament, a mixture of smaller ones and slightly larger ones. They all came from Dollar Tree, and I'm weaving them onto my floral wire, alternating between a smaller bell and a larger bell. I got this idea from Frugal Family Homes blog, and I thought it was so cute that I had to recreate it. By alternating the bells from smaller to larger, you can see they kind of all go together and end up beside each other, and it ends up looking really full and nice. Depending on how large you want the ornament to be, or if you want it to be a wall hanging, you just make your floral wire longer and add more bells. I'm twisting the two ends of the floral wire together a few times and wrapping them around, just making sure it's really secure. And then I'm cutting off the excess. I have this red ribbon with white snowflakes on it from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a bow for the top of my wreath ornament. I'm cutting off a little section and making a loop, and this is going to be how wide I want the bow to be. And then I'm hot gluing the loop together. Then I'm cutting off another piece of ribbon, slightly smaller, and making another loop, then hot gluing that on top of the first loop. And because this ribbon isn't wired, it's a little trickier to mold it into the shape that you want it to be. So I'm using hot glue and adding little dots of it in the middle and between the sections, then pinching the ribbon together until I get the shape of bow that I want. Now I'm cutting off 2 more pieces of the ribbon for the tails of the bow. I'm hot gluing my bow to the bell wreath. I thought it was kind of missing something, so I'm taking one of these little white berries and hot gluing it to the center of the bow. Then I'm using this red and white baker's twine, and I'm making a loop to hang the ornament on the tree. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more fun, easy DIYs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.